It's 6:30 in Douala, 6:30 in Yaoundé, and in all 10 regions of the country. Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to over 6:30 Prime News on my Major Prime live from Studio A at Feng Godrong Bange. My name is Gienda Peldrin Blanche King. Cardinal Secretary of State Pietro Parolin is in Cameroon for a 6-day working visit where he will celebrate the Eucharist in the Cathedral of Bamenda and will impose the pallium on the Archbishop of the Diocese, Andrew Kea Fanya. He will equally visit the Household of Hope Center for Street Children and young prisoners in Yaoundé. He is special emissary of His Holiness Pope Francis and bearer of a peace and reconciliation message for the people of Cameroon. Away from that, a pile of Cameroonian passports were discovered recently beside Government High School Ngwaikale in Yaoundé. The passports, most of which are still valid, were dumped by unknown individuals, as our reporter Nora Kakebi tells us.
At a time when the acquisition of passports in Cameroon seems so difficult and remains an uphill task, these documents have been found around the Government High School Ngwaikale neighborhood in the nation's capital, Yaoundé. This young man is shocked, just like many Cameroonians should be, after having found this pile of passports dumped here recklessly, with most of them still valid up till 2022. Sources say concerns have been raised as to how these valid and most treasured documents in Cameroon got to this area and why valid passports will be dumped into trash, while Cameroonians are quite frustrated trying to secure passports at the Yaoundé immigration centers. It is sad that Cameroonians pay huge sums of money to secure ordinary passports and have to wait for over 7 months and even more, and sometimes end up never seeing the documents. No reason has been established why these passports were dumped here, and no one knows who did the act. But what is clear is that some Cameroonians have paid to acquire their passports and may never secure them because they were dumped. It should be noted that thousands of Cameroonians have been left stranded along the corridors of immigration offices after having paid in good amounts of money just to secure a passport. Sometimes, many Cameroonians have had to pay for the express service, which costs 150,000 Cfa francs and even more, but still cannot acquire the document on time, despite the rush and scramble to acquire the precious document.
The last days of the month of January has left cruel images in the minds of most Cameroonians. Families are mourning their deaths and others counting their casualties after Wednesday's tragic accidents at the Chang Hill. We bring you recent tragic incidents recorded between yesterday and early this morning in the following report.
After the tragic accident that claimed the lives of over 53 people, Cameroonians have again bowed to sad news from the west, east and central regions of the country. Reports early this morning confirms yet another accident at the Batie Cliff in the Upper Plateau division of the West region. The accident involved another transport bus and a truck. The poorly stationed truck was hit from behind by the bus. At least 3 people were seriously injured, with 1 person losing his leg. The injured are currently in the hospital receiving treatment. Meanwhile, at least 2 people were confirmed dead yesterday in a road accident on the National Road Number 1, linking Gaoundéré and Bertois in the east. The deceased Squadron Commander Hassan Garga and cousin crashed into a caterpillar. The blue car, damaged beyond recognition, was on top speed. With the severe shock, the driver and passenger died instantly. Still in the East region, a set of twins were crushed to death on Thursday, January 28, 2021. The kids were hit by a vehicle transporting wood within the town. On their way to the market, the third victim was immediately rushed to the hospital. And in the Central region, a student of biochemistry at the University of Yaoundé 1 was attacked and killed yesterday by armed robbers. According to reports, Michael Mpena Lada was stabbed by armed robbers on her way home back from school. Her only crime known to the world is that she resisted handing over her mobile phone. She was rushed to the hospital where she gave up due to loss of blood.
The souls of the faithful departed rest in peace. According to our reporter in the east region of the country, several sites in remote localities in the east have been abandoned upon start of work. The works were revisited during the evaluation meeting of projects financed by Fcfa in the east region. Let's now listen to Jean Didier in the following report.
L'amélioration de la qualité des investissements du FECOM, du projet de CDT, c'est le thème qui a sous-tendu les travaux présidés par le gouverneur de la région de l'Est, Gregoire Vongon, dans la salle des actes du FECOM de Bertois, où ont pris part certains maires concernés par ces travaux, le représentant du FECOM Est, ainsi que les opérateurs économiques, ce jeudi 28 janvier 2021. Il en ressort que certains travaux exécutés dans les communes de Salapumbe, Moulounou et Ngoïla tardent toujours à être livrés par les entreprises adjudicatrices des 10 projets qui auraient pris la clé des champs.
Faire le point sur les projets à problème et essayer donc de trouver ensemble, mutualiser nos énergies pour essayer d'apporter des solutions concrètes et même concertées, n'est-ce pas, pour faire avancer les projets et les réceptionner définitivement.
Le gouverneur a prescrit la résiliation pure et simple des contrats avec ces entreprises véreuses qui freinent le développement de la région de l'Est. Toutefois, il appelle les maires, maîtres d'ouvrage et des projets, à mieux examiner les entreprises qui soumissionnent à des projets du BIP afin d'écarter les aventuriers dans le secteur des marchés publics.
Comment faire avancer ces projets? Il faudrait déjà l'implication même des maîtres d'ouvrage, que ces maîtres d'ouvrage puissent s'impliquer personnellement pour le suivi. Vous savez que habituellement la maîtrise d'œuvre n'est pas souvent sur le terrain. Et si un maire suit personnellement l'évolution des travaux, il pourrait donc anticiper, n'est-ce pas, sur ces problèmes.
Rappelons que cette 5e session de commission mixte chargée du suivi et du contrôle de l'exécution des projets financés par le FECOM dans les collectivités territoriales décentralisées a vu la participation des délégués régionaux du ministère des Travaux publics et celui du marché public, chargés respectivement du suivi et du contrôle des 10 travaux.
Members of the Cameroon Community Media Network CCMN Littoral Branch have held their first network meeting for the year 2021 in Douala, focused on fine-tuning strategies to catch up with lost time in 2020 caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. The first network meeting equally focused on carving a way forward for projects this year. Eileen Sama was part of the meeting which took place today here in Douala. She compiled the following.
The Cameroon Community Media Network CCMN members Littoral Branch have drafted their plan of action for 2021 after meeting today in Bali, Douala during their first network come together. The year we just ended was said to be a very bad one for the CCMN members who couldn't attain their objectives. Reason why focus at the meeting was to fine-tune strategies on catching up on the time lost. Regina Etaka Eso is the regional coordinator of the CCMN Littoral Branch.
As journalists, we are out to do our reporting in such a way that it will de-escalate violence. We are trying to come out with ideas that will change the narratives. Because as peace journalists as we are, during our network meetings, we are going to build the capacity of our members in different topics on how to do reports that will help to change the narrative and change the mentality of the people, because reporting is not only about reporting violence and things like that. We have to look about the positive aspect of things in order to empower our population and to give the voices to the voiceless and to enable that the authorities that be should understand the plight of the common man and the people on the streets.
The role of peace journalists in humanitarian reporting is very crucial and geared at having a touch that will trigger actors to help develop the community, as Mbaku Jude, Financial Secretary of the CCMN Littoral, explains.
Many journalists today focus attention on some of the political issues that are happening in the country, and they neglect most of these humanitarian issues. So that is our main target, to make sure that we bring these humanitarian needs of our population, especially in the local communities and grassroots communities, very closer to to stakeholders and authority legal decision makers so that they can channel our resources in developing communities. That's our role.
Members of the Cameroon Community Media Network Littoral at the end of the meeting were tasked to produce 20 humanitarian reports for both radio and TV broadcasts intended at creating community development, especially for the targeted populations at the grassroots level.
St. Leonard Health and Research Foundation has successfully sent out 7 students as the first batch of students to graduate from its community health care program. The graduation ceremony, which took place at the foundation, was presided over by the divisional officer for Limbe 2 subdivision. Details with Kuma Onorembom.
St. Leonard Healthcare and Research Foundation has graduated its first batch of trainees under its community healthcare program. Welcoming the population, the CEO of St. Leonard Health and Research Foundation, Dr. Leonard, thanked the population of Bobende village for their support to the foundation that was born in their community some 10 years ago. She further appreciated the partners, volunteers, and other stakeholders who stood by the foundation throughout the difficult moments. To the graduates, she reminded them of the foundation's goals, which are to improve the lives of the underprivileged in the remote and rural communities, while urging them to be good healthcare providers and serve their local communities with empathy and care.
The foundation is divided into 4 departments. We have the clinical department who's taking care of patients. We have the research department who's taking care of research to improve health, because we know without research, health cannot be improved. We also have the community engagement team called Humanitarian Without Borders of the St. Leonard Health and Research Foundation, which is mostly involved in reports underserved, difficult to reach communities, villages and refugee camps in Cameroon, so that health for all, as stated by WHO, can reach everyone, no matter how far you are, no matter how difficult it is to reach you live. Let primary health care be a reality, especially for women and children that are living in those rural areas that are difficult, that do not even have a trained nurse to even give them first aid before taking them to the nearby hospital.
On his part, the mayor of Limbe 2 municipality, who doubles as the traditional ruler of Bobende village, Chief Walker Daniel Ndiver, applauded the efforts of St. Leonard Healthcare and Research Foundation for the medical assistance provided to the Bobende community, in particular, and Limbe 2 subdivision at large since its creation. The graduation ceremony took place under the watchful presence of the divisional officer for Limbe 2 subdivision, Sech Meke Abel, who called on the graduates to be ambassadors of the foundation as they go out to the job market to face the realities of the profession. He encouraged the CEO and founder not to relent her efforts in serving the community. Since its creation in 2010, St. Leonard Health and Research Foundation has been working tooth and nail for the socio-economic inclusion of young girls, women and children, to bring education and primary health care to the underprivileged population in the rural zone and refugee camps in Cameroon and Africa at large.
Let's now join Gladys Bomotongina for African news compiled in the French language.
En RDC, le Premier ministre accepte la censure de l'Assemblée nationale sans appel et promet de démissionner dans les prochaines heures de ses fonctions. Le porte-parole de Sylvestre Ilunga l'a confirmé lors d'une conférence de presse.
Étant donné que les députés qui composent l'Assemblée nationale et qui ont été élus lors des élections générales de 2018 ont majoritairement voté le mercredi 27 janvier 2021 la motion de censure dirigée contre mon gouvernement, j'attends la notification de cette décision pour prendre mes responsabilités conformément à la Constitution.
Une situation rendant encore plus puissant le président Félix Tshisekedi avec une majorité de 391 députés sur 500 à l'Assemblée nationale. Plus d'une centaine de migrants nigériens, soit 400 travailleurs, arrivés légalement il y a des mois de cela en Arabie Saoudite, où ils se sont vus arrêtés par les forces de l'ordre de l'immigration et gardés en camp de détention après expiration de leurs documents et bloqués pour rapatriement dû à la pandémie de coronavirus, ont finalement touché le sol de leur pays hier. Ces derniers déclarent avoir été traités comme des animaux.
La plupart vous tiendront le même discours que moi et d'autres raconteront même pire. Des personnes qui sont entrées avec des titres de séjour valables ne méritent pas d'être traitées ainsi. Nous sommes des êtres humains avant tout et les autorités nous ont traités comme des animaux. Je suis allé en Arabie Saoudite pour gagner de l'argent. J'avais un titre valable de séjour, mais mon permis a expiré au bout de 9 mois. J'ai été alors arrêté par l'immigration. Ils ont saisi mes papiers et m'ont placé en détention. J'ai été retenu pendant 5 mois et au final, je ne sais même pas ce que l'on me reprochait.
Un groupe de 400 autres sont supposés être rapatriés en ce jour. Ces derniers auront donc 14 jours d'observation avant de rejoindre leurs familles respectives. Parlons à présent coronavirus. On parle de 20% d'Africains vaccinés contre le coronavirus d'ici la fin de 2021 selon le projet de l'OMS. En effet, l'Union africaine a obtenu un supplément de 400 millions de doses, s'ajoutant à la première vague de 270 millions achetés précédemment. Selon estimation, la facture de l'Afrique pour immuniser ses 1,3 milliard d'habitants doit s'élever à 7 et 10 milliards de dollars.
We've come to the end of today's edition of Prime News on My Media Prime, the last for the week. Thanks for being with us from Monday right up to this moment. The news was produced by Desmond Ngwa, coordinated by Lasha Kinsley. My name is Genda Pelgin Blanche King. Until we meet again on Monday at 6:30, God willing, stay tuned to My Media Prime at 7 p.m. Cameroon time. Prime Hour will be live with Leonard. Enjoy the rest of today's edition of the program only on the African Eye. Good night.